What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with a brand new top 10 for you guys today. And today, guys, we are taking a look at top 10 PvE dinos. Now, guys, PvE pretty much means player versus enemy, so you don't have to worry about any sort of PvPing action, which in a way is a good thing, but it adds a different sort of element to the game. So in this sort of style of play, you will be going up against the bosses and enemy dinos and like alpha dinos and stuff like that. So it's purely you versus the base game of Ark. So guys, let's jump straight into the list, starting at number 10. So guys, coming in at number 10, we have the Dodicarus. Now, the Dodicarus is going to be one of those dinos that you will constantly rely on throughout Ark. Main reason being because he is the best stone gatherer in the game. He gathers stone like absolute crazy, and if you pair this guy with, say, a Karkanos as well, you can easily farm up to hundreds and thousands of stone in a couple of hours. It is ridiculous how good this guy is at gathering stone. As well as that, he's got a rolling ability, which, you know, it's something cool, it's something different. Your feet slightly stick out, but that's nothing that you really need to worry about. So this guy is the king of gathering stone, and I would definitely recommend taming one of these guys up if you do play PvE, because having the ability to gather all that much stone in that quick amount of time is a very big boon. Now, you're probably thinking, what do you use stone for? Really, the only thing you'll probably be using stone for is the grinder, the industrial grinder, in order to make flint. That's probably, unless you want to build in a stone base as well, since you don't have to worry about PvP, you do have that option of building in stone, and the Dodicarus can help you out with that. So guys, let's move on to number 9. Now guys, coming in at number 9, we have the Anki. Very similar to the Dodicarus, this guy is the king of gathering metal. You can see that we've pretty much demolished like 2 whole metal nodes, as well as all those Deinonychuses. And just from those nodes, we've managed to grab 380 metal. Maybe it was only 1 node. Hard to say. But this guy doesn't actually... Oh, actually, he has really high melee damage. Damn, that was a 150 spawned in, and he's come out with 398 melee damage. So you can definitely expect this guy to gather a crap ton of metal for you. And through PvE, you will need metal, because metal is pretty much what you need to make metal bases, metal tools, turrets, you name it. Anything that requires metal, you're going to need to gather it. And the Anki has the ability to do so. You saw there from that little node, we've just gathered 400 metal. Now, our gathering rates aren't even that high. I think they're only like ×3 at the moment. So this guy is pretty ridiculous, and you will need one of these. As well as that, these guys are king at gathering flint as well. So if you don't want to go through the Dodicarus means and use a grinder to do so, you can use this guy to go around gathering flint as well. But this guy is absolutely pivotal to pretty much any sort of resource gathering you will need to do in the entirety of Ark, which in PvE mode you will need to do. Now guys, coming in at number 8, we have the Gachas. The Gachas are one of the greatest PvE creatures to have. Main reason being because they just make gathering resources so much easier. You don't have to worry about going out and gathering the hard to grab difficult resources. For example, you can see here, our dude here's got black pearls. He's got congealed gas balls. Stone and fiber, not so much of a big deal. You definitely would want to use this guy for the black pearls for tech stuff. And then you've got this guy over here. He's got obsidian, crystallized sap, silica pearls, which is definitely a big one as well if you don't have an anglerfish or anything like that. And then you've got metal, silk, silica pearls and stuff like that. You can get the ones that drop the element dust as well, which are really good for obviously being able to craft tech and stuff like that. But these guys make gathering resources a lot less tedious, especially the rarer ones, because obviously they can just produce them and you can just feed them seeds or stone or whatever the heck you want to feed them. As well as that, you can get the odd chance of actually them producing the crystals as well, which would definitely help out in that regards as well. So guys, the Gachas come in at number 8 on the list. Now guys, coming in at number 7, we have the Argentifus. Now this slot was a very hard slot to fill because there are a lot of good flyers in Ark. And to be honest with you, this was a real tough one. The choices were between the Argy, the Tappy, and the Snow Owl. We decided to go with the Argy just because of its versatility and its usefulness. Granted, the Snow Owl does have the dive bomb ability and the ability to freeze and heal, and the Tappy is really cool to fly and he's pretty fast. The Argy still has that versatility and that usefulness. Being able to grab creatures, being able to ferry large loads of items between bases across Ark, across the maps. You know, you could easily take an Anki on a metal run with an Argy and just easily gather heaps and heaps of metal. As well as that, his back acts like a smithy, so if something breaks, you can easily repair it in his inventory if you've got the necessary items. That's a lot of stuff that the RG has going for him that I feel like put him slightly over the other two candidates for this position. So guys, the RG comes in at number 7 because obviously all those things that I listed, as well as having the ability to reduce certain items in its inventory such as stone, crystal, obsidian. Actually, I don't think obsidian is one of them, but all those sort of items, stone and everything like that. So guys, the RG comes in at number 7 on this list. Now guys, coming in at number 6, we have the Baryonyx. The Baryonyx, in my opinion, is one of the most versatile, well-rounded dinos in all of Ark. He's obviously a water mount as well as transitioning into a terrestrial mount. Now the cool thing about the Baryonyx as well is that he is really good for clearing out caves, especially the swamp caves. This guy is, I would say, probably one of the best, if not the best dino for clearing out these swamp caves. Aside from the Megatherium, this guy can easily wreck whatever comes his way in those caves. As well as that, like I said, he does have the ability to swim underwater. Well, this is just slightly awkward now. And also while underwater, he does have the ability to do the underwater stun attack, which will pretty much stun anything his size or below him, which once again is very useful for just exploring the underwater depths, as well as just exploring the map in general. Now there are a whole heap of creatures that we could also include on this list that aren't going to be included. It also depends on what map you guys are playing on. So I do apologize in advance if any of those creatures aren't on the list, but we're just taking into consideration the main maps of Ark. But guys, the Baryonyx is great. Like I said, all those reasons, as well as that, he also has the ability to restore his health by eating fish. Very fast, his health does restore by utilizing this ability. So guys, let's move on to the next creature. Now coming in at number 5, we have the Therizino. This guy ticks everyone's boxes. He is a fiber gatherer, he's a wood gatherer, thatch gatherer, berry gatherer. He does everything for you. He's an absolute machine when it comes to killing stuff as well, and people use him for the bosses as well. This guy will do everything for you. Now I would recommend taming up more than one. As well as that, their eggs also count as the second highest kibble. So these guys are great for going down that route and grabbing your kibble as well, which is really effective. And you can see already, just from a couple of swings from 2 trees, we've managed to gather over almost 1,000 wood. So he's pretty nuts. As well as that, his base stats are very good. His melee damage is very solid. Like I said, people do use him for the boss fights, especially the dragon, since he does demolish the dragon. I mean, not in a couple of hits, but he does do it better than the Rexes because the Rexes do take the extra fire damage from being carnivores. Whereas the Theri is a herbivore and absolutely destroys everything in its path. Like I said, he gathers berries, he gathers fibers, he gathers seeds, thatch, wood. He does everything for you. You can see here the mixture of items we have: fiber, berries, thatch, wood. Like I said, he is just one of the best gatherer dinos and one of the best PvE dinos in all of Ark for that very reason. So guys, let's move on to number 4. Now guys, coming in at number 4, we have the Spino. The Spino is one of my favorite creatures and definitely one of the best PvE dinos to use in Ark. Main reason being because he is terrestrial and aquatic. He's pretty much an upgraded, stronger version of the Baryonyx minus the stun. This guy can swim underwater. I don't believe he does utilize oxygen actually. It's been a while since I've ridden a Spino before. So this guy does utilize oxygen, but he has a large pool of it. You can see here, he's got easily like 3,000 oxygen. You could easily level this guy up and go deep sea diving with him. As well as that, this guy won't actually shoot to the surface when you jump off him like some of the other mounts that you can take underwater. So he is definitely worth taking it. As well as that, underwater he does gain his hydrated buff, which actually causes him to deal increased damage to anything he faces underwater. So mosasaurs, tusos, plesiosaurs, although I probably want to go up against a tuso because the tuso will just grapple you. This guy is the one of the best. I was going to say the best, but he's probably not the best dino to use, but he's probably one of the best dinos to use on land and underwater. Now, like I said, he does get that hydrated buff when he is in water, and you can switch between his bipedal stance and quadrupedal stance to deal extra damage. You can't, however, utilize this ability in the water, so do take that into mind as well. But you can see here, we're hitting for 208 against these parasaurs. The reason we're hitting for 139 is because they're bloody mate boosted. There we go, 208. So these guys are really powerful, and once you put some levels into them, get them melee damage leveled up, these guys can hit ridiculously hard. So guys, I definitely invest in a decent amount of Spinos for yourself because they are well worth it. Now guys, coming in at number 3, we have the Uteranus. Now guys, I know, the Rex, where is the Rex? Well guys, the Uteranus is very similar to the Rex. He has almost the exact same base stats. He actually has the exact same health, stamina and weight as the Rex. His melee damage is just slightly less than the Rex. Plus, everyone always knows to tame up Rexes, so we didn't include him. But the Yudi is definitely undermined, and especially if you want to use him, if you want to complete the bosses in Ark, you will need yourself a Yutyrannus because of his courage buff, which allows you to pretty much buff any creatures in the area with the courage buff, which causes them to deal more damage and take less damage. As well as that, he does have the fear debuff as well, which you can utilize to fear certain dinos and deal extra damage to them as well. But this guy is definitely a tank and beast in his own right. His melee attack is slightly faster than the Rex, I believe. Actually, no, sorry, slightly slower than the Rex. But that doesn't stop this guy from being an absolute powerhouse and still being able to demolish most things in his way. Like I said, his base stats are exactly the same to the Rex, aside from their melee damage. But guys, you definitely will want to invest in a Yudi if you plan on completing the bosses of Ark. So guys, let's move on to number 2. So guys, coming in at number 2, we have the Rock Drake. Now, the Rock Drake is found on Aberration, and he's on this list because he is one of the best dinos to use for scaling the map, for just exploring, for dealing damage, you name it, this guy can do it. He is a great mount to have, and I would definitely recommend getting yourselves a Rock Drake egg and a Rock Drake if you don't already have one. This guy is, in my opinion, the fastest flyer, if you want to call him a flyer, in the game. Hands down, even though he technically glides, he is the fastest flyer in the game, in my opinion. And he just packs a punch wherever he goes. He is a king of the skies, of the Aberration Trench. You name it. This guy can do everything, except obviously gather like wood and stuff like that. But that's what the other creatures are on the list for. So like I said, this guy does have the ability to glide. He also has the ability to climb whatever structure you put him up against, like the Megalania, like the Thylacoleo, except better. You can see he will pretty much scale this cliff, go upside down and everything. Bam. Just like that, we're at the top. Now, like I said, he does have the glide ability. He has the ability to turn invincible as well. Look at that. Look at that stealth action right there. And he is, in my opinion, the fastest flyer due to that. But guys, the Rock Drake is an absolute king of his domain, and he is a king on the other maps as well. So guys, let's move on and find out what number 1 is. Now guys, coming in at number 1, we have the Reaper King. This guy, very similar to the Rock Drake, can pretty much do anything. He doesn't have the ability to fly, however. He can deal massive amounts of damage to anything and everything he comes across. Easily being able to take on Gigas and the like. This guy is a beast. Now also, he benefits from taking less damage while no light pet creatures are in the vicinity, which makes taking on wild dinos a real ease for him, and you can utilize him on Extinction to complete OSD drops, complete Element Vein drops, you name it. The Reaper King can do everything, and in my opinion, he is the number 1 best creature to tame up for PvE playthroughs. Like I said, he does everything. He's got the ability to slow down creatures that are attacking him. He's got the ability to fling these creatures away, rinse and repeat. You can see here with his tail spin, he is able to knock creatures pretty much into the Shadow Realm by flipping them back. And then once they come back at him, he can simply shoot them with his poisoned spore thingies and slow him down while dealing torpor damage, making him either a really good getaway dino or allowing your other dinos to deal damage to them, such as like your Venusaur set to turret mode and stuff like that, before they're able to get to you. So the Reaper King is an absolute beast, and I would recommend taming one of these guys up ASAP. They are a little bit hard to tame up, but that is why they are at the number 1 spot on this list. Plus, what's more intimidating than seeing this big ass dude coming at you in the middle of the night? These guys are terrifying to look at, and they are well deserving of their number 1 spot in my opinion. So guys, that's going to wrap up the video today. Let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Let me know what you guys would have swapped in, swapped out, you name it, that sort of stuff. There are obviously a lot of dinos that could have made it onto the list. I tried to slim it down as best as I could. It's hard to make top 10 lists when you've got over 120 dinos. Makes things real difficult. But guys, let me know how I went. And other than that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe down below for more. But other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next one.